Welcome everyone to After Church Tea Time for the Sunday service. So we had a beautiful sermon by Danny on upheaval, and as upheaval is part of Ascension journey, it was a beautiful sermon. I'm in company of beautiful unionists. We have Lara and Eve, and we have Andy and Nikki. Welcome everyone. So, yeah, I would like to open up by sharing that I love this sermon a lot. Um, there are times when we are going through challenges, big challenges on the twin flame journey, and sometimes we do tend to get afraid, like, oh my God, there's going to be a lot of upheaval. And that's kind of a secondary thought that comes through. But I felt very supported by this sermon and encouraged. I love watching Danny's sermons. So, yeah, I'd like to open up the floor and hear from you guys what you guys experienced and received from the sermon.
Okay, we can go. I feel like it was very timely as always. The services are always like on point with what the collective is going through. I feel like my major like takeaway, besides being like a very great reminder, as you said, like of taking things like more easily, like not letting the upsets being like or like the upheaval take over your peace. I feel like what I saw is that some like when we are going through like this upheaval, heavy feelings, stuff releasing, it's very easy to focus on that negative self-talk inside and like kind of make a mistake maybe to just like hoard onto those and like maybe like self-doubt yourself. Like, oh, am I healing? What should I heal now? It's like instead of like seeing that as an opportunity or as a call that, oh, now it's time for self-care. Now it's time to take a step back. Now it's time to process. Now it's time to do an activity that I love. Instead of doing that, I've seen like for myself personally, it's been easy to just like focus on the upheaval instead. And like that's something that also Jeff and Shaleia and Danny mentioned that, hey, actually you're not meant to do that. Like you're meant to let that process in the background and you focus on something else and like give to yourself in that moment. So that brought me a lot of relief because I'm going through a lot of upheaval. A lot of changes are happening at the moment in our life. So yeah, going through this, I was like, oh, what is happening? Is something bad happening? Like, should I be like I've been working towards something good? Like, why is am I feeling like this now? It doesn't make sense. And I'm like, oh, it's upheaval. Okay. That's funny.
It's important to let those feelings pass, as you said, in the background and not hoard on them. Otherwise, you would be like trying like to micromanage what is happening on the background, and instead of just focusing on yourself, on self-care, on your peace, and building that, even though upheaval is passing meanwhile. And that is the most compassionate way to actually do it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was for us also very timely today, the sermon, as we experienced a lot of upheaval today. And I liked a lot that Danny talked about, like you said, focusing on the peace, that there's always also peace in this part of the process as we release this. And what I feel is so important for us is the knowledge, like to what Jeff and Juliet teach, that we know about like the symptoms, that we not think we are doing something wrong. Like Nikki said, I'm walking towards something beautiful. What is happening here? That this is part of the process, and that there's nothing wrong in like having these bad feelings. And I guess what we are still learning is that this just can be in the background, that we do not have to give so much power to bad feelings, or that they like make our day when we experience like a lot of upheaval, that we still can function or have like also a peaceful time even when there are not so pleasant feelings like moving through us.
Yeah, and it's really important that we like focus on how uphill really should feel like. It's like Danny said, it's part of the process. So it's actually something that can be easy and like run in the background. And a lot of people outside are afraid from the uphill, what's coming up. Also in our kids, we saw that a lot when they do a lot of healing. They are more afraid from the upheaval, what's coming up at the beginning, instead of actually moving through the upset. So both is intense, but they were more afraid from the upheaval because the first time we also experienced upheaval, we laid in bed for like a day, but that's not how it should be. It's like something you can really let run it in the background. And maybe then you have once a year or once half a year when you have a really bad upheaval, but usually it's just something what's part of the process, and you do your healing, then you're releasing the stuff, then it's same process again and again. And we really learned that in the last couple of weeks or months. I remember like maybe half a year, Chrissy said that in a session to us, to let the upheaval run in the background. And back then I had the feeling how you really can do this, because whenever I had upheaval, it was really intense for me. And that's something I've really learned to live with upheaval. That's actually quite easy to do it, and that you still can function, do your job. Also take a lot of self-care in this time.
Yes. Yeah, I feel it's like mastering the process. It's part of mastering the process and really shifting into what Jeff and Shaleia teach, what Danny also mentioned, like this is not something bad. It's like leaving. All the old feelings are leaving. So we are receiving something good, receiving more peace, receiving more love. And when we are focused on this, then it's quite more easy to just move through it.
Yeah, it is a part of maturing with how you do your inner work. Like initially it was a lot for me as well, but over the years, I have learned how to live my life and also continue to choosing the new vibration. I think reinstating the choice. And Danny also mentioned that having a strong boundary on the separation consciousness is necessary. So I learned this through MAP as well. Like even after MAP session, there are 12 weeks of support. And in those 12 weeks, there is like reinstating of the choices, the new choices that you've made. And also not just speaking the choice, but physically, like, starting to move in that direction of peace, continuing to choose that peace. It really helps. Like, I like what you mentioned about Chrissy, saying that live your life like, this is not something that should stop you from living your life. And I've also found that movement helps. Like if I exercise or like start cleaning the house, so I think this naturally starts happening. And when I notice myself cleaning the house, and I'm like, okay, that's because I'm in upheaval. I also see it the other way. So it's very supportive, like physical actions, because like your mind knows that you've completed the work, like you've completed your inner work. Your mind knows that intuitively. So it's like, okay, what next? Okay, I need to look after my environment. So that starts happening as well. So these are kind of indications that I've given to myself. Okay, I am in upheaval, and this is how I can look after myself. And self-care. Oh yes, so important. I would ignore my self-care initially, but now I've become more and more sensitive to my self-care, like, and going a mile or two extra on, and like having good food and sleep and some nice movies to watch and a blanket, and you need that. Yeah, for sure.
For me, how it usually manifests is that sometimes when I have an uncomfortable feeling, I sit with a feeling, and there is just nothing to really do about it, but just the uncomfortable feeling is because I need to do something outside to take action. And that's when I understand that it's just upheaval. And then I usually go out, do some shopping or something. And that when I come back, I feel better because, and I understand that it was upheaval because that what I did, the action, helped me. And I'm also learning how to identify when it's the upheaval like arising.
I feel like it comes from what Dani also said about balance. So like you know that okay, you've done the work, you've done like very deep healing, and then like these feelings come up, it means that it's time for self-care. And like then like give to yourself so you have energy after the upheaval to give outside. And then like it's like this cycle, and like getting to know ourselves like in that manner that we know when these cycles happen in a way, and it should become like very organic. Yeah. So this is like something that also like when I was like in the spiritual summit with you,
Yeah.
the main message that I got like was everywhere that I was seeing it was balance. So like this has been like a very big
Yeah.
big lesson for us.
Yeah.
Like having this balance with our energies, where we put it, when we have like to take a step back, when we have to self-care, like schedules, discipline. So yeah, I feel like everything is like seeing things as an order, because it is a process at the end of the day. It's a process that we don't have power on, we don't have control over it because it's God. So like if this is the process, we should just like accept that and surrender to it and just understanding and let it play out. And
Yeah. And boundaries are very important, right?
yeah, boundaries and discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had this lesson too, to learn balance, because we had like the tendency to heal, and not like have the fun part between, like where we just integrate or just focus on joy and things which are good for us, like the self-care or this all the things that are joyful
It's really
to us.
also about listening to yourself, what you actually need. It's not just a healing journey. It's also, and a lot of times I say it's the everything package. Also, like in your life, like that you can have everything.
Yeah.
Listen to yourself, what you need, giving you the space for your joy activities.
Yep.
And that's what we're learning, to really listen. Also, like Danny said, not listening to the ego voice when you have upheaval. Then it's really important to listen to yourself, what you need, and not what the voice in your head is telling you what you should do, like laying all the time in bed, I feel bad, and blah, 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 what's going on in your head, and ignoring that voice and just connect to your heart and feel into it what you really need. And when you go into this space where you're really present with yourself, it's getting actually way easier than it is, or what the voice in your head is telling you.
Yeah, what it looks like. Yeah, and what I find also very supportive is actually work. It's like, for me, it's working. I mean, when you live your life purpose, it's like work is always supporting me in upheaval. And even when I feel in the morning, oh my God, so many emotions, how can I work? It's always when I then work, it's like lifting me up, and it's like more fast leaving me. And it's really supportive for me
Yeah.
to just do the work of the day.
Like Danny said, everyone experience upheaval different. It's also every human function different in upheaval. So for Lara, maybe it works that she's working to process it. For me, it's more like Andy also said, going out doing shopping. That's helped me to process it. Also, cooking is helping me to like move through it. Or sometimes when I feel it's listening to a class is also helping me to move through it. And so everyone is unique and really needs to listen what they need, what supports them to move through their feelings faster and not being stuck in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And I've also found that I tend to like have combination of all of these, like have all of these tools in my bag. Like, it, it's it's also sometimes just more going deeply in my feelings as well. Sometimes it's just some feelings need to be felt, and I know that it's not a feeling from that needs to be healed more than just needs to be felt. So that's what I've found as well. And I've also found that sometimes when I'm in upheaval and I'm getting these big feelings, but then I'm also watching my favorite TV show, and I feel more safe in like addressing those feelings and then having them released from my system as well. So yeah, that's something that happens naturally. Yeah, and like Lara mentioned at work, yeah, I've also noticed that when I actually go to my work and talk to people and just, move, and then um, that also passes through much more compassionate way. Yeah. Mhm. And I've made some notes, and I was really, really inspired by what Danny mentioned about the final surrender. Like, I also feel like sometimes knowing that once you have healed something, knowing that you have healed it and not trying to chase it or not trying to dig in too much into it. Like she mentioned about her manifesting her union. Like she was 100% dedicated, completing her work. And once she knew that the vibration is there, it was complete surrender to God and trusting God that God's going to bring the manifestation as and when it's ready, and not like chasing it or worrying about it. Okay, have I done this, have I done that, or overlooking and over checking. So I loved what she mentioned about the final surrender, that trusting that even the healing and the next piece of what you need to heal, God brings that to you. Because I remember I had this habit of, okay, what am I missing? And habit of constant checking on myself. But then my coach corrected me. She's like, God knows what's going to come next. So relaxing into that. Once you've healed the block that's in front of you, surrender, and surrendering to the pace that God knows and recognizes, that gives you a lot of relief, and not trying to take charge or trying to do your journey by yourself, because like, yeah, God is there to support you and guide you into that next piece and next steps. Yeah, that. mm.
Yeah, I love that. It comes like to releasing control on the manifestation or the outcome, or just like having that faith that, okay, like I did the healing and now I feel that I have that, and I can just like relax, even if like after that like you go into upheaval, but still like even when you're in upheaval you can feel that you have that vibration healing. um and yeah, I agree with that part that you said about work, both you and Lara. um because I do like feel like most of the time I'm like different from Monday with people, because I don't feel like sometimes I need to walk, but mainly I do process to work a lot. And I did that with my first map session, and like I was expecting like to not have energy to work at all, and like my main concern in a way was like, oh, how am I going to work now that I went through map? And like all that I did, it actually gave me more energy to work, because I was like, I just went through the whole upheaval through work, and it was great. I wanted to mention something else, but it's okay. It's not coming to me now.
I agree also with you, Apir. I also experience releasing upheaval in a combination of ways. It's sometimes it's with work as well with me, but mostly it's with physical activity. It really helps me to ground, to do the work of the day, live your life. Kind of grounding is a really big part that helps me with upheaval. And whenever I ground, I kind of it feels much easier. And when the same feeling comes later, I know that I have to do some self-care to ground much deeper and keep living my life.
What I wanted to say was like the part of when you go into that feeling and you just need to process it, and maybe like you just need to reinforce your choice there. But it's not that you need to do some actual work of healing work there, because it's already done. But it's just like, oh, you go to that feeling and it's like, oh no, actually I've chosen this here. And like it's kind of you shift your energy there from releasing that is bad, and then like you just like welcome the new choice that you've already made.
Yeah, it's kind of also what I was saying, grounding and concentrating on the vibration that you have already manifested inside. And when you like concentrate there, it also helps you with reaffirming the choice that you have made.
Yeah. So it's just like upheaval is like a lot of people do it differently, as Eve also said, like it looks different, but it's just like the same process for everyone. It's fun because we can see how we're all different, but we all go through the same thing.
Yeah, recently I had like a big upheaval because we manifested our new home like in a very short period of time, and it was a lot of healing. And I remember, I guess 2 weeks ago or something, we had a session with Chrissy, and I did like a lot of healing the couple of days before, and I was still like this high in a way, like and there were so many feelings coming up in the session to just help me to process, release, and really ground. Because Andy said the grounding aspect is very important, and I can feel that too. Because when you heal so much and you're healing, it's like you really have to come to how can I say this, a foundational place again, like where you are grounded, like both feet on the ground. And this helped me a lot in just one session to really have this peace again, like complete peace after a lot of healing work. So working with an Ascension coach is always like so valuable, also in just releasing emotions or upheaval. Yeah, very supportive.
Yes.
Yeah, I love what you mentioned about when you're manifesting, you are also receiving. Like I realized that when you have healed, you are actually receiving the good vibration. And I noticed myself that I wasn't receiving it fully. Like a lot of times I'd be like, okay, I've done my healing, I've done my, looking at the bad feelings and love myself there, but not receiving the good feeling completely. Like that also comes, like, I feel as part of the upheaval. Like there are big good feelings, even when you have like physical manifestations, but to receive that good feeling also requires you feeling it, like, sitting down and receiving that good peace, that good celebration. And like I've noticed that honoring that feeling in many ways, like you can have like physical celebration and celebrating, congratulating on the inner work that you've done, the achievement that you've had. And that also feels like, okay, I'm grounding my new vibration. I'm grounding into that good feeling. Like, yeah, that also helps me a lot. Yeah.
Something that I remembered from Danny's sermon is like being your own coach in a way, and being your best friend. So like being your own cheerleader. So like, oh, when like these bad feelings come up, you make the new choice. You take care of yourself. You don't let yourself stay in that bad feeling, or you don't let yourself kind of like identify yourself with those feelings. You see that they're just passing. You take care of yourself like a very good friend, and that really resonated with me, and it gave me kind of motivation, because you don't like we don't have to wait, and that's something that we've been healing lately a lot with our coach, um, Lau, which is like you don't have like to come we don't have to go to the session being all very sad and very upset and very intense. Like that's not it's not the only way to do it. Like we've learned that, oh, we can just move through the bigger stuff together that
Yeah.
we know, because it's the process. Like do the mirror exercise, you write it down, you speak it out, you process everything and stuff, and then like when you go to the coaching session,
You just go deeper.
we just go deeper with what we're working through. We go deeper with something that maybe we're not seeing, and like that thing, it really helped us, because we've had like sessions, for example, that we just needed to process stuff, and that's okay, because we needed that support at that moment. But like that part of the sermon was like, oh, you're your own coach in a way. So like coaching, not that meaning that, oh, like you don't need a coach, but meaning that, okay, you can be your own friend, like you can take care of yourself, like a cheerleader, like, oh, you can do it, you did the healing, now you can relax, now you can take care of yourself, now you can do this, you can do that. And yeah. That felt good.
Yeah, and I feel like that comes from a foundation of seeing yourself as divine. When it comes to coaching yourself, like being your best cheerleader, because if you don't see yourself as divine and as who you truly are, you it's really easy to kind of let the false voice of ego and kind of trust that false voice of ego, especially in the upheaval.
Yeah, and identify with that.
And identify with it. But when you actually have that foundation of living and seeing yourself as divine in life, it's much easier to handle it and to coach yourself.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I've often found myself like when I finish my coaching session or a day or two after, I will have this big stuff to work on. I'm like, damn it, it should have come in the coaching session. Or, couldn't it wait? But yeah, I've like found that, okay, I'm here for myself and I can do it. I can do it. So yeah, and I've often found like, okay, I have found success. And then when I go into the coaching session, I always like find deeper ways of, going deeper, either healing the same upset or, coming out on the other side and finding deeper ways of healing it. So yeah, I resonate with that a lot. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I feel this is like the beautiful part of being in a twin flame union, is that you have your own coach on your side. And yeah, I feel like we had to learn this, because when you experience like upheaval, it can be quite intense. And as we did not live together the first 10 months or something. Like we needed the space and time between we met because we had so much upheaval and there were so intense feelings. And then we mastered this and living together now 2.5 years or something. Like really do it in a peaceful way and
we just
support
didn't
each
feel
other.
safe to move through the
Yeah.
upheaval, and if you do not feel safe, you
Yes.
cannot move through your feelings, and that's what we've learned in the beginning. But now, working through stuff together with your twin flame is actually really juicy, because like you don't want yourself to sit first of all in upsets, and also when you're in upheaval, not like to sit in the bad feelings and move through it together, and seeing yourself as one bird that's flying together. Partnering with your twin flame in this area is also really beautiful, and that's what we've learned in the last couple of weeks or months, to do everything together, not just it's mostly started when we start to partner in the life purpose, when we actually come in our real power. When you're living your life purpose together with your twin flame, it's like it's a new vibration when you go in, and then you have to also move through the stuff together, because you're all the time together.
You have to move through stuff faster, and but it brings also more harmony and also more safety and stability. And I feel this is very supportive, because I can like nurture Eve when he needs like the nurturing energy, and he can father me when I need something to eat, when I am on upheaval. And this is like, it's very, very loving.
Supportive,
Very supportive, to have your twin flame by your side, even in upheaval.
Yeah, this is so beautiful. Yeah. It's 333 at my end. Perfect. So I feel kind of complete in the topic. How are you guys feeling? Do you guys want to share something?
I feel complete as well.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. I just agree with you and Dara, because it is.
Yeah,
it's
we
virtual.
relate to that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. And thank you so much, Lara and Eve and Andy and Nikki. It was beautiful to discuss this beautiful sermon with you guys. And I encourage everyone to subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube, and continue watching the sermons as well on YouTube. And we will see you next time. Thank you, everyone.